What's going on, YouTube? My name is Skill37, and today's video we're going to be reviewing for the PlayStation 4 Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. So yes, another year, another Call of Duty game. And what a damn Call of Duty game this one is. Last year, we were presented that garbage that was called Call of Duty Ghosts, which was presented to us by Sledgehammer Games, a company that was supposed to top everything Infinity Ward and Treyarch had ever brought to the table when it came to Call of Duty. Now, for those who are unaware, there is a new contract with Call of Duty and Activision. Developers no longer go back and forth. Typically, it was Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Treyarch. Now it's one company gets the game for 3 years straight. So Sledgehammer's very first built from the ground up Call of Duty was Call of Duty Ghosts, and it was horrible all around. The campaign was boring, forgettable, and almost like to the point where you didn't even want to play. There was nothing interesting about the campaign. And even though the game had its Michael Bay moments in the campaign, Call of Duty Ghosts campaign was just boring as shit. You felt no connection with the characters whatsoever. You felt like you were playing for no fucking reason. Its co-op extinction was just so tacky and bullshit. And its online was the biggest fucking mess in the history of Call of Duty. Call of Duty Ghosts was the lowest rated Call of Duty game ever created. It was criticized all around, campaign, co-op, and online. Call of Duty Ghosts tried to be different by introducing maps that would work in a game such as Battlefield. That just doesn't work in the game of Call of Duty. Call of Duty is all about tight corridors, fast-paced, in-your-face action, and being able to take down your opponent relatively quick. Problem with Ghosts was the time to kill in Call of Duty Ghosts was ridiculous. As for games like Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2 and 3, it would take about 4 to 5 bullets to kill someone, and Black Ops introduced a very high time to kill, and Black Ops 2 that introduced. It's always been a normal thing for people to die quick in Call of Duty, but Call of Duty Ghosts was very highly exaggerated, where it would take what felt as if it was 1 or 2 bullets to kill somebody. So imagine playing in a large open map. Someone kills you from across the map with a submachine gun that's meant for close quarters combat. That got really fucking annoying. It got to the point where the YouTubers, the big YouTubers like White Boy 7th Street and other big names in the Call of Duty community just didn't want to play Call of Duty Ghosts because it was bad. And graphically, it may have looked nice, but the game had lots of issues, especially in the PS4 version. While the game was 1080p, it just had this issue where it would dip in frames every 5 to 10 minutes. And you could just be standing still, and it just happened. The engine was just poor. Everything about the game was just poor. So the same company that brought you Call of Duty Ghosts is bringing us Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. So, a lot of people are really hyped that Call of Duty is finally going into the future. We have something new, something fresh. But everyone's worried about Sledgehammer Games. And I'm here with my review to actually reveal to you that for whatever magical fucking reason, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is the best Call of Duty since Call of Duty Black Ops 1. I don't know. I can explain to you how it happened. I don't understand how they go from shit with Ghosts to amazing with Advanced Warfare, but they took every complaint about Ghosts and made sure it did not make its way into Advanced Warfare. Everything about Call of Duty Advanced Warfare will remind you about the fun times you had with Call of Duty 4 and Call of Duty Black Ops. Its campaign is fresh, its online is ridiculous, and its co-op is above decent. So let's start out with the co-op. The co-op is very straightforward and simple. No, it's not the zombies. That trailer was leaked. The zombies will come later as DLC, and it's not going to be similar to Treyarch's approach to zombies. It's going to be something a little different. But its co-op is fairly simple. You take on hordes of enemies. It's basically horde mode, and between rounds you get to upgrade your weapons, your armory, and your exoskeleton. Take on the next wave of enemies. Rinse, repeat. It's nice and fun. What I can say about it is the biggest appeal to the game's co-op is the split screen. The split screen in Call of Duty in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare on the PlayStation 4 runs at 60 frames per second. And there's no letterboxes. There is no like black screens, no little black boxes. It's just you got your top of the screen, your friend has their bottom of the screen. It runs 60 frames per second. It's nice and smooth. You get some dips in the frames when things get a little, overly chaotic. You have like 10 enemies on your screen. There's grenades, blah, 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 blah. It never dips below what feels to be 50. But it stays consistently at 60. When it gets overly hectic, it dips a little bit. But that's to be expected on split screen. Just know that the co-op is fun. It's not something you're going to buy the game for. But it's there. And it's fucking, at least it's above decent. It's nice. The campaign, though, is ridiculous. What I like about the campaign, they try something different. Granted, the campaign still has its Michael Bay moments. The campaign this time around features Kevin Spacey. And Kevin Spacey is a well-known actor. And what I feel what they're trying to do with Call of Duty is prove that great acting isn't just reserved for TVs and movies. Great acting can be found in video games now. Video games are no longer the, oh my God, you play video games, you're a nerd type shit. Now it's become such a modern thing that everyone games, even the non-gamer games. So when you got people like Kevin Spacey being like the main attraction to the game's campaign, it makes you say to yourself, wow, like times have really fucking changed. So what is the Call of Duty campaign story about? You play as Mitchell, and you are part of the giant private military called Atlas. Atlas is the end-all private military. They answer to nobody, and it's ran by Jonathan Irons, which is played by Kevin Spacey. This military is beyond powerful. They answer to nobody, not even the American government. They are mercenaries for hire, and they are 20 years more advanced than any military on Earth. Basically, they're the superpower of the planet Earth. Now, of course, they all seem like, it just seems all great on the outside. Obviously, when you have a military that strong, that's just grounds for the very overly cliche, they're not actually the good guys. But when a terrorist organization called the KVA, led by a nice-looking individual sporting a fabulous mohawk named Haiti, steps up and threatens the world, it's up to Kevin Spacey and his multi-trillion-dollar private military to come and save the day, which ends up turning into a Michael Bay experience when it turns out Kevin Spacey's a piece of shit, and Atlas actually isn't all it's cracked up to be. What's good about this campaign is that, granted, it's somewhat cliche and predictable, it's exciting. And granted, there's a couple Michael Bay moments. This game relies heavily on utilizing an exoskeleton. This campaign also relies heavily on introducing something that's been needed in Call of Duty campaigns for a long time: player choice. And what I mean by that is, typically Call of Duty campaigns are very straightforward, point A to point B corridors. That's gone. Half of this campaign is relatively open. And what I mean by that is the game tells you start here, you end there, and you figure it out from there. There's one map where you literally have to go and escape. So you have to catch up to somebody. And you can go through roofs, jump through houses, or just mix and match. It's great that we finally have some kind of exploration concept in Call of Duty. The game's still fast-paced. The AI still does what it does. The animations look beautiful. The game looks great. The voice acting is phenomenal. Kevin Spacey's performance was top-notch. Kotaku did a review on Kevin Spacey's performance, saying that, this right here proves that you can have real actors in big-time video games. And what can this possibly hold? Are we going to see, bigger, more well-known actors in franchises like Call of Duty? Who knows? We had, what was his name? Ice Cube in Black Ops. And that caught people off guard. We have Snoop Dogg and Ghost. I mean, come on now. So the campaign's great. The other thing I like about the campaign is the characters. I like the fact that Mitchell is not your typical Call of Duty character. What I mean by that, if you play Modern Warfare, you play as Soap, and then you saw him in Modern Warfare 2, and he's like this big badass guy. Then you play Black Ops, and everyone in the Call of Duty games has this overly cliche, I'm unstoppable kind of main character. Your team has these overly cliche kind of members where you feel like you're unstoppable. And with this Call of Duty, I feel like they tried something different. This Call of Duty is very, gets the term, I don't know, it's like young, fresh. The characters are just so mellowed out and different. They're cool in a sense. Mitchell looks like a gamer. He doesn't actually have this big buff appearance. He has this appearance to him that's small and frail, and he plays the role of your team's tech. He's extremely smart. He is not buff at all, and yet he's the game's main protagonist. Also, unlike previous Call of Duties, you only play as Mitchell in this Call of Duty. You don't flip-flop between different eras. The game, while the game does a progressive kind of timeline, you only play as Mitchell. But the game's fun, it's exciting, it's different, and it adds a couple different things to the campaign, such as an open world mechanic that has been needed in the Call of Duty franchise for some time now. So let's get down to what's most important, the reason you bought Call of Duty, and that is the game's multiplayer. Every year, Call of Duty tries to differentiate itself from the previous Call of Duty by trying something different. Typically, Infinity War game Call of Duties are very fast-paced, as with Treyarch Call of Duty games are much slower, and the time to kill in Treyarch Call of Duty games is much higher. So what was problem goes, the time to kill was atrociously low, the maps were fucking gigantic as shit, and the bullet damage was completely unbalanced. Advanced Warfare completely changes the entire formula. Now everyone has an exoskeleton by default. There is, I'm going to say it right now, there is a playlist where you get to play the original Call of Duty modes such as Team Deathmatch, Search and Destroy, and Domination, And I forgot, there was one more. Without the exoskeleton abilities, for those who are just not into the whole double jumping and boosting, there's a playlist for you guys. You get to play old school Call of Duty, don't worry about it. But for the people who are wanting something new and fresh, the exoskeleton does this basically. You can jump twice in the air, you can dash. You can dash after a jump. One of my most favorite things to do in this game is slide, use momentum for my sliding, double jump into a dash. You can traverse the map, any map, in under 10 seconds. As the maps are fairly sized in this game, but due to the high intense new approach to the game with the exoskeleton, everyone is fast as shit. And most importantly, let's talk about things that really matter when it comes to Call of Duty multiplayer. The time to kill is almost perfect. I cannot stress to you enough. It's not as heavy as Black Ops, where it felt like it took 7 to 10 bullets to kill someone. It's more along the 6 to 8 bullet range now, which is phenomenal. Okay, so the game is still fast paced, but there's enough health so that it doesn't feel like you're being cheated. There's enough health that if someone is shooting you from behind, you can do a 180 and kill that person. The boost and double jump adds such a wonderful new feeling to the game. There is no running along the walls like Titanfall, nothing like that. It's very similar to Crysis, but it's faster than Crysis, and it's more responsive than Crysis, and it works very well. And with this proper time to kill, just because someone's running around, jumping around, doesn't mean that you're going to be missing out on kills. No, it's very balanced. When it comes to the recoil of guns and the bullet damage of guns, they made sure that rifles stay the masters of medium to long, as with submachine guns are ridiculously amazing at close range. But unlike Call of Duty Ghosts, if you use a submachine gun and you plan on killing someone very far away, expect to put possibly half your magazine into that person. The bullet damage drastically changes depending on how far you are from your opponent, making it so that you can't run around with a submachine gun and fucking dominate on every single map. No, you have to switch it up every now and then. Shotguns feel somewhat useless in this version of Call of Duty due to the fact the game is just so damn fast paced. You're not gonna really have time to get up to someone that fucking close. Quick scoping is a thing, but the sway on the scope is there. So if you're being quick scope at anyone, it's really just because that sniper is just good at the fucking game. If you try to pick up a sniper rifle and you're not expecting the sway of the rifle, it's gonna catch you off guard. So quick scoping is a thing in this game, but it's rare. And the people who are quick scoping are actually good at it. You're not gonna see people running around and actually missing. No, if you're sniping in this game, you're actually good at it, because you have to consider, because everyone is fast as shit in this game. Everyone can double jump and dash. There's a risk to sniping. If you miss, you're fucked. Because if someone's on the other side of the map and they see you sniping them, it takes them 3 to 4 seconds to traverse the entire map, because everyone has this exoskeleton. So if someone's sniping, they're good. And be happy that they're good. You know, give the guy his props, because that guy can fucking snipe you while you're dashing left and right, front and back, and double jump. Well, then shit, he got good fucking aim. And I'm not really a fan of quick scoping. When I get quick scoping this game, I'm just like, God damn, this guy's good. The fuck? And I tried it, and sniping does feel fair. So what makes the online even more exciting? Let's talk about the loot system. This game introduces a new loot system, which is really random. Basically, as you're playing the game, you'll get a message call. You receive a supply drop. A supply drop is extremely random. At the end of the game, you just hit up your little loot crate, and it gives you random shit, such as cosmetic gear and special gear that's timed, such as a bloodshed helmet, bloodshed gloves, just cool cosmetic shit for your character. So you have that different look in the game, so you feel like an individual. Then you have weapons that are pre-built, and if you do not like these pre-built weapons, you could just take the original, customize it, to your liking, or take the special drops you got and trade them in for EXP. There is a certain amount of drops you can actually hold on your character. The perk system, the Killstreaks system got completely revamped for the better. And similar to Black Ops 2, the Pick 10, which is now the Pick 13 system, has made its return. When it comes to Killstreaks, one of the biggest issues in previous Call of Duties was that there was a UAV in the air at all fucking times, making it to the point where players felt that they were forced to have a suppressor and they were forced to use Ghost, so they wouldn't appear at any point in this map. Now that they introduced this new system with the Killstreaks, there's less and less UAVs. You might see 1 or 2 UAVs in an entire team deathmatch now, because there's a new system they implemented with the Killstreaks. Example. A typical UAV costs 300 to 400 points, which is about 3-4 kills, okay? But now, each kill streak can be modified with up to 3 attachments, which is pretty fucking ridiculous. So now instead of a basic UAV, my UAV personally is up in orbit, and when every time it ticks twice as fast, and I get to see my enemies through walls every time it ticks. So my UAV cannot be shot down, and it's the ultimate. And that's my first kill streak. It takes me 8 kills to get my first UAV. See the balance? All the kill streaks can be overpowered as shit, but the amount of kills required to actually get them to that point is ridiculous. So everyone's on the train of making their UAV beast as shit, but getting 5 to 6 kills in a row in this game is not something that happens too often because everyone's flying all over the fucking place, and you might get shot in the back a couple times. Now, as far as spawning is concerned, the spawn system's fine. I've actually had no issue spawning. When I'm being shot from behind, it's because dudes is jumping all over the fucking place, and sometimes I can't keep up, and they land behind me. There's nothing more satisfying than when someone shoots me from behind, I turn around, dash around the wall, jump above them, they couldn't see me, I land behind them, kill them from behind. This is such a different pacing of Call of Duty. Call of Duty is known for being fast-paced, and you have to have skills when it comes to twitch mechanics. Now combine that with the ability to dash and a much more proper time to kill. The maps are phenomenal. I forgot to mention that. The maps are not gigantic and wide open. There's lots of corridors. These maps remind you of the same map style of Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, and Call of Duty Black Ops. This game's balanced. Every weapon feels right. There's not many clones of weapons. There's, I think it's like 6, 7 submachine guns, 5, 6 rifles, and every single weapon does their own individual thing. The attachments are cool, and the camo's back. But the biggest attraction to the online is the new pacing of the online in general. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is, in my opinion, an incredible leap for the franchise. The franchise has been getting stale because a lot of the Call of Duties remain the same with its pacing. Even though every Call of Duty is technically different, this new addition of simply just adding a better time to kill, boosting and double jump, along with customizable kill streaks to the point where the game is, victory is more based around you actually going out to kill your opponent, not letting the UAV tell you where everyone is. Because the UAV just can't keep up with the players anymore. So now when you're getting beasted on online, it's because the opponents were generally better than you. So I truly feel this Call of Duty is amazing. I'm addicted as fuck to it. Me and Dino were playing last night for hours playing split screen online, okay, with Ultimate Razor and his brother, and we just having a blast. Split screen, running at smooth 60 frames. Can't act some more. Playing on the PS4 version. Add me online. LOL Skilled 87. Activision, if you're having any issues, hit up their Twitter, Activision support, and they are actively responding. They have acknowledged the fact the game is having some issues, some lag, and some crashes, and they're gathering all information. We're going to get a patch very soon. They're being very serious with this version of Call of Duty. It's obviously going to be an Advanced Warfare 2 with the way Advanced Warfare 1's ending. It was the cliche, the fight's not over type shit. But yeah, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare for the PlayStation 4, I feel, is the best Call of Duty since Black Ops 1. It is a wonderful apology for that atrocious Call of Duty Ghost game. The co-op could have been better. So my final score for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare for the PlayStation 4 will be an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you for watching my video. I'll catch you guys next video. Deuces.